Hello everyone, morning. It's a Singapore time 11 a.m. So I think most of us are actually stay at home currently because of the virus outbreak. So then the purpose of making this video today is basically I want to share uh, some of my trading strategies that currently using and some of the samples actually I got it uh, from Monday to Fridays. Okay, it's from a major pairs. So we start with strategies that I'm using is called TAPS. So basically TAPS strategies is quite simple strategies. I mean, it's not complicated. It's divided into four sections. So T is stand for trends, A is stand for area, P is stand for pattern, and the last S is stand for signals. So basically, trends is a very uh, basic things. I think everyone who has been in this forex tradings might have heard about trend is always our friends. So trend is something very important. We do not want to trade a counter trends because the probability of success in a counter trend for a trade is actually lower than in line with trends. Okay. Second is the area. Area basically is talking to this resistance and support level. Okay. Also sometimes we might use EMA line as our support or resistance area also. So basically area is quite a wide topics. You can use horizontal line, you can use trend line, you can use EMA actually to define your support and resistance area. So basically if you combine one and two, you will have a very clear directions of what to do and what to look for. So for example, okay, for this euro dollars, okay, pair, okay, in the past trend actually is on a downside. So we can see this from this point to this point is actually on the downside. Okay, let me add more this arrow for you to take a look. Okay, so basically it's on the downside. Okay, so what we want to do is when we have a confirmations like uh, low, high, lower high, and lower low. So when we have these confirmations, right, we know the trend is currently on a downtrend. So if the trend is confirmed, then what area should we look for? Should we look to sell at a random area, or should we look to sell at a resistance area, or should we look to sell at a support level? So definitely we will choose the second one, sell at resistance area. So we got to know how to define an area that look for. The third one is pattern and signal. Okay, so basically the third one pattern is like to me is a confirmations. Okay, I like to see some pattern to occur before I look for the signals. Okay, so basically what's that mean? Let's say for example this trend. Okay, we can see that okay, the first arrow is the first low, second is the lower low, then this is the lower high. So after this price actually break out, okay, of this level, okay, this is the pattern that I am always looking at. So this sorry okay, these candles, okay, which close below the low of this support line. Okay, this is the previous support. So I looking at the body itself. Okay, it's almost like okay this area. So when I see a close below, so what do I want to look? This is the pattern that actually I'm looking at. What kind of pattern? The name for the pattern is a quite simple also. It's a basic things. Okay, it's a lower low, lower high patterns. So after I see this pattern, basically I'm looking for signals. Okay, signals basically is some things that relate to price actions. Price actions means I'm always looking at candlestick. So what kind of signals that I'm looking at always? If in a downtrend, I will look at the bearish signals. So this is the bearish pin bar. Sorry. So it's in a uptrend, I will look at a bullish pin bar. So other than these two, so what else can we look at? Okay, so bearish engulfing, bearish breakout of an inside bar, bullish engulfing, bullish breakout of an inside bar. Okay, this kind of candlestick setup is basically we can get free from online. Okay, so these are all the signals that I am looking at once I decide my 1, 2, 3 what to do. Okay, so now we are clear with the tap strategies, and let me show you some samples that I got it from last week, not last week, basically it's this week. Okay, from Monday to Friday. So I got some samples and using my tap strategy actually to do some checking on it. Okay, let's see what is happening. Okay, for first of all, I would like to show you is a euro dollars. Okay, euro dollars. Okay, from the start of the weeks, not start of the week, I think 28 basically is last week. Okay, last 2 weeks about. So we can see this is on a downtrend. Okay, when coming into this week, okay, we can see actually the arrow that I show you, the trend is trying to actually swing lower. So this is the second swing. Okay, but it's failed. So it is actually being rejected at the same support level and push back. Okay, and push back up strongly and break the previous high. So what do the I mean what is this pattern told me? So the pattern is telling me that we might be in a trend reversal. So first of all, I identified my trend is a trend reversal, but trend reversals I mean directions. Second, okay, if this is the trend reversal from the downtrend, then what area should I look at? Support area. Okay, so this is the support area. This is the one. Okay, previous resistance turn supports. Okay, the third one is the patterns. Okay, so basically I'm always looking at okay higher high, higher low, lower low, lower low, lower high kind of patterns. So for this pattern I can see it's actually higher high, so I'm looking at higher low. Okay, so this is the pattern that I predict, okay, to be happens if I am correct with. Okay, the last one is the signals. Okay, so if you look at this setup, basically I put my this what do we call actually long position. Sorry, I actually put my long position based on these candles, but not this all these candles. The reason is because these candles show me the bullishness of the price. Okay, even though, okay, recap some things. Okay, previously I'm talking about when I talk about areas, areas can be horizontal, can be trend line, can be EMA. Okay, so for the examples, even though the price doesn't reject this support horizontal level that I draw, but it's actually we can see the EMA 20, okay, that I put in is 20 and 50 for 4 hours. The 20 EMA basically is pointing upward, a little bit upward. And more importantly is the price actually close and rejecting this EMA for the third time, first, second, third. So it shows me that the price is trying to pushing upward. Okay, and we can see what happened for the next 4 hours. Okay, so price is actually pushing higher, higher and higher. So the reason why I means the target hasn't been hit, but the reason why I put this uh target at this level, okay, this is something I would like to talk about. Okay, so basically for my stop loss is quite simple, because I always believe if you are trade at a right directions, the price 100% will not hit your stop loss. So regardless how much stop loss, I mean you are given the so-called the price to breathe, room to breathe, uh, to me it's just a very subjective things. Okay, for me my style is I always leave a 10 piece below, okay, below the signals. So basically if you look at these candles, okay, these candles, the lowest point is actually 1.08410. So I will round up at the lowest to 10 point lowest at 1.0830. So this is the level that I'm looking at. Okay, then we jump to the targets. So targets is basically what targets do I want to look at. In an uptrend, we always see a higher high, higher low. So basically, what do you expect? I mean, in a trade, we always need to form some expectation and predicting some things to be happens that based on our experience. You see, so you want to maximize actually your returns in order to get a good risk and reward ratios. Okay, this is some things relate to risk management that I'm not going to touch today. So what do I want to say is this is the first resistance point, okay, from this setup. But because I'm trading a patterns that is higher high, higher low, and this pattern tell me that if I'm in the right directions, the price should have going strongly and break out the first resistance level and should goes to the next resistance level. And this is the reason why I choose this level rather than this level as my target. But I also apply some risk management. Okay, once this level is being break, basically I will move my stop loss to break even so that I can protect my capital, you see. But I'm hope for a bigger returns. Okay, so these are some concepts that I'm currently using in trading the forex. Okay, strategy is only part of a trading plan, but risk management is one of the most important component in the trading plan. So always and remembers, okay, when you should uh, put your trade to break even trade if you are in the right direction, because you wouldn't know next minute. I mean sometimes price will actually goes against you quite strongly and hit your stop loss. Maybe one day, I mean it happens, definitely it happened to me. I will look for the samples and show you why this is important is my next videos. Okay, but today I'm going to share the tap strategies with you first. Okay, so this is the target and we can see the price is had yet to reach our final, I mean fixed target here. So this trade will be actually reviewed in the next couple of days, I mean next week when the market is open. Then we move on to another trade. Basically today I have three also come from this major forex pair. So euro dollar, then I have this euro pounds. Okay, euro pounds are basically the same tap strategies. Okay, first we identified the trend. Okay, you can see the trend is actually going down. Then this is the swing level, I mean that I put an arrow for you to easy identify. So these are the swing, okay, swing low. Okay, so when the price come towards measures support area, okay, then you can see the price actually did bounce back upwards. Okay, however, okay, this bounce back basically has not, okay, break out this resistance previous high level. So to me my first feeling is like, yeah, maybe the price is still on the downside. Okay, the buyer has not gaining any momentum to go up yet. Okay, so how do I confirm, okay, basically confirm my uh this thinkings? Okay, I wait, okay, I wait for the second touch, and I see the price also pushing downwards. Okay, if I tell you, I mean, if I show you like this way, you'll be more clear cut. Okay, when the price come to here, I see a imperfect pin bar. So my first thinking is like, oh yeah, maybe the buyers, okay, is not has any more momentum to actually break up the resistance uh level. So I wait, okay. Inside bar, okay. Do I have a bearish inside bar? Oh yeah, now I have. Okay, so what next? But I wouldn't trade at this level. The reason is because if I open here, my stop loss need to be at, I mean, at this area. Then my target will be at this area. Then uh how much R&R do I get? There's very little. There's not much R&R. Or even you are applying, okay, the high low method that I'm telling you putting here, okay, it's also not going to be quite, I mean, not attractive at all. Because if you check, I mean, the risk and reward ratio might be around, I guess, let me check, it's less than 2. So basically things that less than 2 to me is not so attractive, okay, unless I have very high confidence. Okay, you see only 1 to 1.28. So to me actually it's not attractive, so we should wait. I mean, we should wait for the next video, not no, sorry, we should wait for the next trade, I mean next candles to close and see what happen. And the price actually slowly going up, bounce back, okay. And this is the bearish pin bar at the same level of resistance. Okay, now okay, I tell myself, how is the risk and reward? Okay, how is the risk and reward? Is that a good risk and reward, more than 2 or up to 3 or up to 4? So my answer when I test it, yes, it's 3.33. Okay, so I saw a trend, I identified an error, I have a patterns, okay, and I need a signal. So basically this bearish pin bar is my signals. Okay, some of you might confuse, how come your first samples, I mean, you are talking about to look at the next level of uh uh lower high, sorry, lower low, lower high, or higher low, so the next level of low as your target. But how come this you are looking at this level as your target? So the reason is because of this area. What do we see from this area? The price come down, okay. Basically the price reject, I mean bounce back from this new low, okay, to this resistance point. The reason why I still consider this as a valid uh, short trade is because the price actually showing me twice or third or 3 times that rejecting this area if I extend this line. So first rejection, second, and the most recent one haven't touched, but it still shows some rejection, third. And the bearish pin bar also show a rejection to me. So these are all the rejection points that given me the confidence, even though I got a higher low level. So usually sometimes higher low level is an indication, but sometimes it's also can be arguably, I mean, based on other factors, okay. So the factors, I mean, the facts of this trade is no higher high level has been occurred, which means most likely the trade is still on a downside, okay, downtrend. Or maybe the trade is actually consolidating at this area before moving upward. So you see, a lot of argument you can be formed. I mean, you got to tell yourself, you got to discuss with yourself if you don't have any trading partners. So you got to think of the, I mean, any possibilities that will be happens. Okay, what if A is happen, then what if B is happen, what if C is happen. So you need to actually let yourself to understand what are the current situation of the markets. Okay, in this case I think my pattern is still on a lower low patterns, okay, set up, and the signal is actually this bearish signals, bearish pin bar signals. So it's quite straightforward and simple, but you need judgment. Okay, is a so-called experience judgments, okay, from yourself. Okay, so the price actually went down and hit the target that I set. So this is the area of uh, target that I'm looking at, and it's actually close it after less than 20, I mean less than 2 days, I guess. It's 7 to, yeah, 7 to 9. So it's about 2 days trade. So it's a good trade. I mean, if you open, if you trade it, if you open, it's a very good trade with 3.33 risk and reward ratios. Okay, so we move on to the last samples. Okay, the last samples basically is pound dollars. Okay, pound dollars, I think the trade come to my attentions uh, a little bit so-called uh, slow. Okay, basically we should actually look at the trade at this area, but because this area is more like a confirmation support area, I mean patterns, confirmation of a valid patterns. So I think um, I wouldn't say that it's a bad trade. It's still a good trade, but it's just that not so attractive. Okay, if you are going to take it. So this trade I didn't open. I mean I didn't trade for it. All these three trade actually samples that I show you, I didn't open for it, but I'm trying to show you the tech strategies when you apply it, how to use it in analyze the market. Okay, uh, I have my full-time job, so I'm not trading all day. But I have a habit is like I always like to look at what happened in the past week or this week on weekend. So I will do some practice or analysis on my strategies. Okay, first thing first, you have to be very clear and remember that no strategies can be work forever. Some strategies basically it while working in certain periods, okay, and when the time move on, you got to be review your strategies again and again. Okay, even though a lot of people is telling you, yep, the market is actually uh doing what it has been done in the past. Yeah, it's a repetitive repeating things. Okay, it's a regular patterns. Yeah, I agree with that, but you don't remember. Okay, false break is one of the most dangerous things that we encounter in our tradings. So sometimes you will see a lot of uh, uh, difficulties, okay, in applying certain strategies. So sometimes you will see a lot of a lot easier, okay, when applying certain strategies. It's because, okay, every strategies has its so-called, to me it's called time limit. Okay, you got to review the strategies and change it regularly, and make sure the strategy is actually can be used and adapted to the current trading environments. Okay, this is what I advise all the traders around. I mean, sharing you with you. Okay, you need to revise it. So even though tech strategies that I apply is quite simple 4 step, I mean thinkings, but in between the thinking, if you look closer, okay, trend usually we don't have any significant changes from the past to currents. I mean, trend is always swing low, swing high things. I mean, it's a very clear cut. So if the price is down, means if you see a swing low, swing low, swing low, lower low, lower low, lower low, it's a downtrend. So error is also the same, but the most difficult things for error for to me that I have my experience is um you wouldn't know is the horizontal level to be more effective than EMA support to be more effective, or the trend line to be more effective. So this is the challenges. Sometimes someday uh trend line will be look more accurate. Sometimes someday horizontal line areas look more accurate than the trend line. And sometimes someday you look at the EMA, the price actually always bounce back. I mean always bounce from the EMA. Okay, for example. So if you look at this, there's no touching on the EMA. Okay, until this. So would you, my question is, would you want to trade this? To me, I choose not to, because in the past history I don't have any uh rejections show from this EMA line. So it's quite risky to take this. Okay, whatever things that we look at the past is actually an outcome to us. So this outcome already happens, but it just give you an thinking that this might be happen again and again and again, but it doesn't guarantee you that it will be happen. So some a lot of people when they trade, they will doubt the price that hit this level, is that right to sell when the price hit this EMA line? Basically no one can answer. See, no one can answer your questions. Okay, but to me, uh I like to look at the most recent outcome. Okay, if this line is not formed as a resistance line to me, then this touching, I mean this setup will not be a valid setup to me. Okay, so this one maybe in future I will do a video and talk more details about this recency tendency. I mean, we, we we always like to look at the most recent data rather than 10 years, 20 years ago. The reason is because even though the pattern is the same, but the behavior of the trader actually change a lot. So the reason one, the most recent data basically reflect the most recent group of people behavior and what they are doing. Okay, some behavior can be last for 1 to 3 years, so your strategies might as well work well for 1 to 3 years. So some are not. So it all depends on uh, uh, the timing, okay, and when you actually design the strategies and when you actually use the strategies. Okay, some strategy they can be reused in certain time in future, but right now it might not be working. Okay, it might be working in the past. So it's like a behavioral game. Okay, we got to actually play with other people. We got to be actually uh think differently, okay, from other people. Some people when they stick to one strategies, okay, they always think that the strategy is the most powerful strategies in the world. So basically there's no such strategies. Okay, any strategies that working well in the past doesn't mean it's working well in the current, but in future it might work well, because the behavior always come and go, come and go, come and go. So people like a group A people, they behave like a behavior A group B people join in, okay, in certain time. So the behavior of A is actually being diluted or being affected by the group B people. So we come up with A and B. So after a long time of period, so maybe group A win or group B loss or group B win. So one of them actually will move up from it. Uh, for example, group B move up. So we left over the group A people. Then the group A behavior will reappear again. So these are kind of concepts, I mean, in a long-term basis that we need to look at. Okay, so back to these samples. The video is quite long, so I will make these samples explanation quite short. Okay, this sample is not a good sample, but I still want to show you the concept of the tap strategies. Okay, so let's start with trend. We have actually uptrend. Okay, if you look at the swing high arrow, then all of a sudden I have a trend, I mean I have a swing low that below the low of the previous low. So I thought this might be a rotation to lower, I mean it's the start of the reversal. Okay, but I'm wrong, because the price actually once got here and started to go higher and higher. Okay, this is the lower high and this is the higher high. The reason why I just now I mentioned previously is basically, I mean, we might want to think of taking some risk when the price is break higher to trade here, but because the pattern is higher high higher low, I don't I mean uh the price break below here is an indication of a reversals. Okay, but when the price go up here but it's not actually break up this area. Okay, so my questions to myself is, does it consider an uptrend, or is it still possible the price will go down? So I don't know, I can't answer myself. That's why I wait. Okay, I wait to another low to be formed. So when the price break out, yeah, then now I confirm the price is back to an uptrend. So back to an overall uptrend. So this might be a false break. Okay, this might be a false break that they all the people that put their uh, uh, stop loss below this level out of the uptrend. Okay, so when I got this, okay, when I see the break higher high, okay, I start to look for, this is the pattern confirmations right now. So you see one push, second lower low, higher high. So this is the pattern. Okay, the fourth one is the signal. Okay, the signal is the bullish signals that rejected. This is the area. So you see all the things that happen here in this sample is look quite very perfect. The only problem is, I'm not suggesting you to take trade for this, is because I have seen 3 rejections at this level before. So 1, 2, 3. So when I set my target, okay, what do I want to look at? So the next resistance level, is the next resistance level that strong or weak? To me, I mean this level will be very strong. Okay, so if you look at higher high patterns, okay, 1, 2, 3, you will think about, yeah, this is the resistance. What is the next resistance? This is the next resistance, possibly. But if you put this is the next resistance, then the risk and reward ratio might not justify you need to take this trade. Okay, so I'm looking at where is the most actually strongest level, or the price touches so many times. Okay, this level, so I put here. But anyway, it's make no difference. I mean the trade is still one-to-one risk and reward. It's not attracting, but the concept of taps is very simple. After these 3 samples, I hope you will get some trade ideas from me. Because of the long weekend first, second is because of the lockdowns. I have my full-time job, but it's quite boring, so I decided to actually do this video and share the tap strategies that I'm currently using. Okay, so I hope you get the strategies, mindset idea from me. I share with you. I hope it helps your trade. So this is the end of the video, and I wish everyone's healthy. I wish everyone healthy and stay safe. Also stay at home. Thanks everyone.